In a year where the tech news has been dominated by new phones like the Galaxy S4, the HTC One, and the Lumia 1020, I have been dying to know how Apple would strike back with a killer new iPhone. And then we got the iPhone 5S. Now, I'm sure it's a great phone, but even the most hardcore Apple fans have to admit that it's not quite the Android obliterating phone they were hoping for. I'm Donald Bell, and in this Top 5 we're counting down the 5 biggest disappointments with the iPhone 5S. Starting off at number 5, catch-up features. Not as tasty as it sounds. Whether it's the improvements to the camera or control center in iOS 7, many of the most appealing features in the new iPhone could have been pulled from any Android device this year. I mean, the best feature in the iPhone used to be the smug feeling of superiority I felt over other people. But now, unless I buy the gold one, I don't think anyone's even going to try to mug me for this thing. At number 4, no 128 gigabyte model. Still. The cloud is nice, but I'd much rather hoard all of my apps and media on my phone. Making things worse is the fact that these apps have been getting more bloated ever since that Retina display, and once things get all retooled for 64-bit, it's going to get even worse. Apple, you are the world's largest digital empire of games, apps, music, and video, and your phone only lets me hold a tiny thimble of it. It makes no sense. Coming in at number 3, battery life. Now, it does seem like a minor miracle that Apple shoved in a 64-bit processor and was still able to keep the same battery life, but we want progress. Phones with monster battery life like the Droid Razr Max have been around for 2 generations now, so we know it can be done. I would gladly trade in that 64-bit processor for an extra hour or 2 of battery life, even if it meant a slightly thicker phone. And just think of all the drunken iTunes purchases Apple will get if they can just make a phone that can stay up past 8 p.m. Coming in at number 2, NFC. It's not there. We've been asking for this one for years. A near-field communication sensor like the one found in most hero Android phones out there would finally pave the way to making Apple's Passbook a real mobile payment solution. The fingerprint sensor gets you halfway there by verifying who you are, but you'll still need something like NFC if you're going to use this at the grocery checkout. No one's really made this work yet, but Apple has shown that they're pretty good at succeeding where others have crashed and burned. Alright, now before I fall too far down the snark hole, let's get some perspective. The iPhone 5S brings a lot of new features that are a meaningful step in the right direction. I mean, we've finally come out of the world of black and white. We have colors now, especially if you include the 5C. The compatibility with OpenGL is going to be a big step up for graphics. The camera definitely got more awesome. The dedicated motion processor opens up some new possibilities for fitness and augmented reality. And most of all, the fingerprint sensor. You know you're going to feel like James Bond for at least a week. Alright, but now back to the big old CNET jug of haterade for the number 1 iPhone 5S disappointment. The screen. How stubborn do you have to be to sit back and watch the entire smartphone industry adopt bigger screens to the delight of customers and still insist that a 4-inch screen is the perfect size? Things have gotten so far gone that the brand new HTC One Mini, the Mini, is still larger than the iPhone 5S. I know this is an issue that's as much Freudian as it is practical, but come on, Apple. Surely you can go a little bigger without Johnny Ive throwing a fit. So there you have it, 5 disappointments with the iPhone 5S that make me wonder if Apple has maybe lost a little bit of their mojo. Be sure to read Rick Broida's full post over on CNET, and for a full rundown of the iPhone 5S without the snark, check out cnet.com/iPhone-5S. I'm Donald Bell. Thanks for watching.